All right, welcome back to the channel. Let's see if I can get this video recorded. I've tried to record 4 or 5 times today and it hasn't worked out so far for various parental reasons. What I want to show you today is how I am making the paper standees that I'm playing with. It's pretty simple. Everything I show you on the computer here is going to be free to use. The only thing that's going to cost you anything is the paper and ink and whatever other little craft supplies you need. Because that's my goal here. How do I get stuff on the table to play games quickly and easily with hopefully minimal effort so we can get to the game playing ASAP? Okay, so first thing you're going to need is, what are you making a mini of? You're going to need the art. Perhaps you have some D&D art you want to steal from, or you're making something yourself, or you're using AI, or maybe there's a site somewhere on the internet that takes pretty high quality photos of all these amazing painted minis. So here's one that I found. This site it's crazy. They just post pictures of all their minis. So we're going to make this ugly fellow here today into a standee. Second thing, you're going to download a program called GIMP right here. And what GIMP is what you're going to use instead of Photoshop. GIMP is free to use. You can offer them donations if you want to, but you can download it and use it on your computer today for no cost, which is super handy. So we're going to right click here. We're going to open with GIMP. If you're familiar with Photoshop, you're going to recognize what's going on in GIMP pretty quick. It's pretty similar. If you have no experience with either of those tools, don't worry, I'm going to just go step by step through what I do so you can hopefully do it as easy as possible. So first things first, you put your picture in here, right? The first thing you're going to do is make sure you have a margin around your miniature. You want a fair bit of space to work with. So if you need to do that, you're going to go image. You're going to go canvas size. You're going to adjust the size of your canvas here. We have lots of room around ours. But if you need to make the canvas bigger or smaller, this is where you do it. It's in pixels. You can change it to whatever you want. Our canvas looks good, so we'll continue from here. Next step, go over to your layers. This is where all your layers will appear. Right click. You're going to add alpha channel. What does that do? We're going to find out right now. Magic wand, click it. Click on your white space. Delete. Click on all your little white spaces in here as well. Just get rid of all that white. Creating the alpha layer is what gives you this no background. This texture here symbolizes no background. That's what you want. Next up, right click on your layers again. New layer. Boom. Now we have a layer that is blank. This guy is floating over top of, or underneath, technically, our blank layer. That's why we can see him. If we turn that layer off, he disappears. Go back to your original layer. Magic wand again. Select your blank space. Go to your blank layer. Now you have that same selection on your blank layer. You're going to go fill. You're going to pick a light color. You're going to do your fill bucket. You're going to fill the selection. Why? Because now we have a blank shape. We have a shape where that's shaped like our guy. Magic wand again. We want to select our shape now, our blank shape. Change this back to black. Go back to fill. Right click on our selection. We're going to go select. We're going to go grow. I'm growing this by 40. The reason why is I was using 30. I found it's a little bit tight. Some of the cuts, it makes cutting a little bit difficult. So I want a little bit more margin of error. I'm going 40. It should make things a little bit easier. You decide what you want. So it's 40 pixels. Boom. You can see that our selection is now fatter. We have our fill. We're going to fill blank. We have to fill the blank space, and then we have to fill the selection. So now we have this. Now, before we delete our gray, we're going to go to the rectangle selector. We're going to give a nice little flat base for our guy. We're going to fill that. And then we're going to pick our lasso selector. And we're going to use the lasso to cut off of any of these sharp indents into our shape for making our physical cutting out of the minis easier. So start down here and just eliminate any sharp corners that are going to be hard to cut. When we're cutting, we can always cut into these, as we feel comfortable to, get rid of any of the blackness that we don't want, but it's going to look good regardless. Back to our fill. Fill here. Magic wand again, select the gray, delete it. Oh, we turned our layer on and our guy's not back. What are we going to do? We're going to move our layers so that the layer with the guy on it is on top. Boom, done. There he is in his glory. I should have mentioned you can use the lasso tool to cut this base off if you want. We're going quick and dirty, so I'm not doing that. We can just cut into this if we want to, which I'll probably do in the next step. Okay, so this guy is pretty much prepped. So now we're going to go right click on our layers again. We're going to merge down. That squishes our layers together. So this is now one image. We don't want to save the image. It's not going to make it usable for us. So for GIMP, what we want to do is export as right here. Hit that. We're going to go beast. We're going to go PNG. Export. Export. Now, minimize here. Here is our picture. Next thing we're going to do, you're going to go get Canva. Canva is also free to use. You can pay to use it, but you can use it limited for free, which is all you're going to need. What you're going to do is open up a worksheet that's an 8.5 by 11 sheet. That's going to be important in a second when I show you how Canva works. So this one is 8.5 by 11. I'm going to open it. Here's my sheet. Before I bring my guy in, I'm going to show you this. So what I do is I open up elements. I'm going to hit rectangle and we're going to hit this. There, boom. It should have just went in when I did it. I don't know why I had to drag it in there. Whatever. Hit elements again to minimize that menu. Now we have this square. We want to give it a line. Set your line weight to 1. Go to your color. Set your color to white. Or no color is even better. Now we have this square. That's what it looks like. So we select the square. Now, Here's why just making your canvas in Canva 8.5 by 11 is important, because when you go to reshape this, you'll see it has a width and a height measurement. Those measurements are relative to the size of the canvas. That's not like 1.6 inches. That's not how Canva works. I don't know why, but I assure you that's what it is. So what we want is a height of 1.3. Your width is less important. The width really isn't important at all. You just want to make sure that your height is 1.3. That's going to be approximately the size of a 28 to 32 millimeter miniature. Get your square. What happened there? Okay, you're going to go here to duplicate. You're going to smash those together. They'll lock in place. Now, go get your picture that you just made. Drag it right in. There he is. Look at that. You can adjust this sizing of the image to make your life a little bit easier. Look, we can cut that base off right there. So the reason that you want this box to give you an accurate measurement is because a 28 to 32 millimeter miniature is measuring from the feet to the eyes. That's the measurement, 28 millimeters. That makes a miniature the height that it is. Let's zoom in a little bit. So we know that this is around 30 millimeters. We're going to lock the bottom of our image into that part of the square and lock it into the back edge of the square. Then we're going to adjust. And we want to make our line approximately eye height. Boom. So if we want them a little bigger, we can. If not, we don't have to. This is also useful because if you're making characters that are sized otherwise, like a dwarf or a gnome for D&D, or a giant, or I mean, a giant's going to be really big, but like an ogre, he's going to be bigger, right? You can adjust that way, and you'll know approximately how tall the standard miniature is. So now once we have our guy all sized up, we're going to duplicate that one as well. We're going to go to flip here. We're going to go flip horizontal. We're going to lock him into the bottom of this box and lock him into there. So now we know that these are evenly spaced apart, which will make cutting easier later. Now we want to make this a file appropriate to print. So we're going to hit share. We're going to hit download. What I like to do is download it as a PDF print file. Boom. And hit download. And once this finishes, it should open up right into your Adobe PDF reader. So there he is. Now you can send them off to your printer. Okay, that's all you need to do to make your miniatures in the computer. We'll pick this up in the physical world as I show you how I cut these out and make them into minis. All right. Hello. Here is our printed out guy. I'm printing it out on, it's just some basic cardstock from like Staples brand paper. I would tell you the exact weight if I knew it, but it's a very old pack and I no longer have the actual wrapper. So I can tell you it's not super thin. It's probably even a little bit thinner than like your general Christmas cards. Maybe it's about that weight. Anyways, you need your guy. Glue stick. Use a glue stick instead of like white Elmer's glue, like squirt out glue, because that makes your paper really smooshy. scissors. You'll need some packing tape. You'll need a knife to do your scoring, an X-Acto knife or a hobby knife, and you'll need a ruler. Okay, first things first, let's cut out our guy. Of course, you're normally going to want to save your paper, but this is a special occasion. So this initial cutout, you don't have to be super clean. Just get your models out. Next step is you're going to want to score a line along your center line here. Just make sure I can see. This is partially of why we want to make this border so thick, because then if we're a little bit off center on our cut, when we go and cut our guy out later, we're not going to say cut the tip of his spear off here when we're cutting on this side. If we're looking at this side, we won't cut off his spear. Score it lightly. Don't need too much pressure there, not much at all. And now this is basically what the guy is going to look like. Get your glue, glue them up. If I'm doing a whole bunch of them, I usually have like some scrap paper that I can glue on so that I don't put my next guy down and get glue on the nice face. Glue the two sides together. I use this packing tape for two things. One, you're kind of cheaply laminating your model, so it gives a little extra bit of protection. Two, it really does bring out the printing a little bit. It kind of makes everything a little bit nicer. I don't know if you can see on camera. I'll show some other models later, but I really feel like it does make things look a little bit nicer. Packing tape. Get enough that you think you'll cover your guy. This guy's a little bit long, so we'll see if I can actually get him with the tape, with one piece of tape here. Pretty close. Fold it over and get the other side nice and flat. If you are doing a big model or an awkwardly sized model and you have a little bit poking out, you can just get another piece of tape. We'll do it on this guy since I'm showing you how I do things. Just line it up as best you can. If you get a little bit of overlap, it's not really a huge deal. Be careful of your fingerprints getting on it, but you know, what are you gonna do? You're doing crafts at home for yourself. Don't be too anal. All right, there you go. He's all taped and laminated. We can put all of our other tools aside. Look at that, we're already almost done. Now we're gonna cut them nice and straight along the bottom here. Cutting, cutting, cutting. Oh, see, I should have even like made this black in here to make my life a little bit easier with the cutting. But I'll show you with this first cut. See, we have a nice wide margin here, so we don't need to make any sharp cuts, any weird turns that are going to crinkle up our model. And look, we're right on the money on the other side pretty much, so we have lots of room to play with. Look, we don't have to cut out, we don't have to get all particular about cutting out these bumps because like we have so much room for error here. Making a wider thing really is helpful, which I wish I would have known when I made all those other models I made. Look at that. Nice and simple. There's our guy. All right, I'll show you what I've been doing for basing. So I suppose what you could do is just print these guys in a way that you could fold them to be actual standees. But what I've been doing is just hot gluing them. It's not super elegant, but it works. As I was going through my last batch of models, I was using less and less to see what I could get away with, and you can actually get these guys to stay with a surprisingly little amount of hot glue. Here is my newest plan, though. I bought these card holders because I have a lot of, spare plastic bases, but I don't have an unlimited amount. And what you can do with these card holders is just slip your guy right in. You could even just use that if you wanted to for D&D or something like that. But what my plan is to glue these card holders onto bases so that I can just reuse the bases, slip whatever guy I'm using in. It covers up some of your model, but no biggie. Yeah, that's it. That's how you make a guy, a miniature. You can see again, next to a standard Games Workshop. Pretty good sizing. There you go. So good luck. If you have any questions, feel free to ask me down below. If you have any suggestions on how I can do things better, feel free to mention it down below. I appreciate everybody watching this video. I think it's going to be my longest one to date, so if you made it this far, thank you. Feel free to subscribe if you want to see what I'm getting up to next. And yeah, thank you for all the support and views people have been giving me. I very much appreciate it. Yeah, thanks, and see you next time.